Today on Finding California Birds, we're going to be looking at one of my favorite birds, the great blue herons.
Large and stately, great blue herons are a fascinating mix of Buddha-like stillness and lightning-quick ferocity. To me, more than any other bird, great blue herons are a brilliant tribute to their dinosaur ancestry. With a fossil record that predates humans by more than 1 million years, great blue herons have evolved as spectacular predators of the marshlands. Surviving and thriving, in spite of habitat destruction and displacement by humans, they continue to fascinate us with their complex behavior, their improbable size, and their unusual beauty. Linnaeus named this genus as the great herons, referring to the large size of these birds. Standing over 4 feet tall with a 6-foot wingspan, they are the largest herons in North America. The Latin ardea means heron, the Greek Herodias means to look down on or to watch over. Great blue herons are in the Pelecaniformes family, an order of medium-sized and large water birds found worldwide. Most have a bare throat patch called a gular patch and nostrils that have evolved into dysfunctional slits, forcing them to breathe through their mouths. They also have a special hooked nail on their longest toe. This is shaped like a comb and is used to brush out and separate their feathers. Other birds in this family include pelicans, ibises, and spoonbills. Great blue herons can usually be found foraging in any shallow water where fish can be found, including wetlands, shallow coastal marine waters, coastal mangrove swamps, sea beaches, or cultivated fields. Great blue herons are formidable predators. While small fish and amphibians are typical, they are generalists and will take birds, mice, snakes, and other vertebrates. They have exceptional night vision and will hunt night or day. Prey are located by sight and are mostly swallowed whole. Mammal hair is cast in pellets and bones are digested. They take in enough water from their diet that they do not need to drink water. Nests are found mostly in trees up to 30 meters or more above ground. Great blue herons build nests primarily from sticks, with stick gathering done mostly by males and placement on the nest done mostly by females. Nesting is colonial, but individual birds are monogamous for the breeding season. According to the experts at the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, most great blue herons begin breeding in their second spring. They will start laying their first eggs in late February in Oregon and Northern California, and in March in Southern California. In California, they typically lay 3 eggs per clutch. Both parents incubate eggs, brood nestlings, and feed chicks. Great blue herons become independent from their parents a few weeks after their first flight. Although great blue herons can live to be more than 20 years old, their actual mortality rates are very high, with estimates from banding data showing that 69% of herons perish in their first year of life. 36% of those remaining die in their second year, and 22% in each subsequent year. Life is very dangerous for a great blue heron. Range. Great blue herons have both non-migratory and migratory populations. Over most of North America, there is a general movement away from the northern edge of its breeding range for winter, with some birds traveling thousands of miles from Canada south to the Caribbean. Here in California, the Pacific Coast populations are generally non-migratory, with only some small distances traveled for breeding and establishment of post-breeding territories. Fossil records of Ardea herodias have been found in many prehistoric sites within the U.S. dating from the Pleistocene era 1.8 million years ago. It is estimated that the overall population of great blue herons in North America is stable. This is because great blue herons are surprisingly tolerant of human activity and are very adaptable in their diet. Personally, I've seen them hunting fish in backyard koi ponds, staking out gopher holes on golf courses, and snatching baby ducklings from outdoor exhibits at the San Diego Zoo. This wanton disregard for the life of creatures smaller than themselves has often put them at odds with humans, who resent having their fish lunch stolen or their backyard ponds raided. Overall, loss of habitat, particularly wetland, nesting, and feeding areas, may have had the strongest negative impact on the species. According to Audubon, California, a century ago, 4 million acres of California wetlands supported millions of migratory waterbirds. Ducks, geese, terns, cranes, and shorebirds depended on great expanses of wetlands in the Central Valley for water, food, and habitat during their long journeys along the Pacific Flyway. Since then, over 90% of California's wetlands have disappeared, and by the 1980s, Central Valley bird populations had plummeted to less than 15% of their historic numbers. Great blue herons are easy to identify. They're very large and tall. They are a grayish-blue color. They have long necks and legs. Their call is usually quiet. They are pretty silent except at breeding colonies and when disturbed on foraging grounds. They will often tilt their head to one side, sometimes for long periods of time, before suddenly striking at a fish moving below them. Scientists have noted that while hunting, herons almost invariably tilted their heads toward the sun, which gave way to a theory called the glare hypothesis. Researchers noticed that if one stands in the water facing the sun at an angle, the sun creates a patch of glare on the water surface. By moving their heads, the herons shifted the glare patch out of their line of vision without leaving a promising fishing area. On hot days, you will notice the herons often leave their mouths open, and it looks like they are vibrating the muscles in their throats. This behavior is called gular fluttering. By opening their bills and vibrating their upper throat muscles and bones, herons are able to increase the passage of air across the mucous membranes of their throats. This increases heat loss and thereby helps to keep them cool on hot days. Great blue herons have an impressive array of courtship displays, during which this otherwise mostly silent bird becomes very vocal. The most spectacular display given by herons when not on the breeding grounds is the territorial display that they use to warn off intruders. It is called the upright and spread wing display. The neck is nearly fully extended and tilted slightly over the back. The head and bill are held above the horizontal, and the wrists are drooped or held away from the body, exposing the black shoulder patch of an adult. These displays usually cause the two herons to move apart, but occasionally bring a chase. This display is sometimes directed towards gulls, great egrets, and even people. How to attract. Usually at this point, I'll offer suggestions on how to attract this bird species to your yard, but today we're going to do the opposite because most people don't like it when a great blue heron is using their expensive koi pond as a lunch buffet. So first, if you're having trouble with a heron eating your pet fish, please do not hurt the bird. Take a step back from your anger and frustration and realize that the herons are not intentionally trying to upset you, they're just hungry and are taking advantage of an easy meal. Your best bet for protecting your fish from predation is to use pond netting to create a protective barrier. Ensure that the netting is pulled taut at a distance of 6 to 12 inches above the pond surface. This method is one of the most successful ways of preventing herons from eating your fish. Another trick that works really well is to use a great blue heron decoy near your pond. Great blue heron decoys are inexpensive and work because herons are territorial and do not like to feed near other herons. You can also try to make your pond less attractive as a hunting spot. Plant aquatic plants around the outsides of your garden pond and make the sides quite steep. Provide protective spaces for your fish by adding large rock ledges or a large diameter PVC pipe so they have a place to hide from predators. You'll find that with a few inexpensive adjustments, you can make your fish pond less appealing to the herons and avoid the stress and frustration of having your fish consumed. So in summary, if you have a little time to spare and need a break from all the craziness the world has going on right now, I highly recommend taking a trip out to your local creek or park and find yourself a great blue heron to study. Sit and watch. Listen. Emulate their stillness, their focus. Write about them if you feel the inclination. Draw them if so inspired. The world is out there to teach us. We only need to open ourselves up for the lesson.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. If you'd like to leave us some comments, I'd love to hear from you. And get out there and enjoy some birds.